What's up, guys? Damien here. Finally getting my first question in for the podcast, but I wanted to ask, what's your thoughts on riding or say training on a 450 and then moving back to a 250 for racing and things like that? Do you see benefits in training on a 450? Do you believe that it might make you a lazier rider? Do you believe it makes you better on a 250? I've always had my own mixed thoughts and opinions. And just love to hear your guys' thoughts. Shout out to cameraman Cam and driver Jamie and everyone else there. I really love what you guys are doing. Big fan from over here in Oz, and hope you guys are all well. Thanks, guys.
Very cool. Great question. Thank you, Damien. Shout out Australia. Shout out Australia and also driver Jamie while we're at it. Why not? My opinion changes on that all the time. And I guess my opinion on it would be you need to be supplementing whatever your weakness is for that time period. So right now I'm training on a 450. It's so cold in this van. It's unbelievable. Couldn't figure out how to, I don't even know if that unit has heat or not. Looks like it would. Right now I'm training on a 450. Just got a Honda 450 about a month ago, and I've been riding it 2 to 3 times a week, doing 30-minute motos, feeling quite good. Honestly. What it's helped me with is being able to do the longer tempo motos without feeling like I'm completely destroying a 250 is quite nice. But being able to do those tempo motos at a good pace and with a little bit less maybe energy exertion. Riding the 250, the smaller bike you get onto, the more physical it's going to be as far as having to like muscle the thing around and really be working that bike. The 450 is physical just because it's a lot of weight behind it. So if you get out of shape, you got to really use your muscles to bring that thing back. But if you ride it the right way, it's not super physical. At least not the way I've been riding the last few weeks. I've been kind of hanging out right in that 75% zone and going pretty fast. The last day that I rode MX-23, I did a moto with Ben Kelly, pro off-road racer, rides for KTM. He's from Connecticut. I think he lives in one of the Carolinas right now. Super nice kid. I never met him before. Of course, I had heard of him. And I was out there in one of my 30s, and he was, I didn't know he was there yet. And I always am looking around the track just to make sure at a public track that I'm not catching up to anybody too quickly or I'm not going to land on anybody. I'm just always scanning ahead. And all of a sudden, this KTM catches my attention. And first couple laps, I'm pulling from him, but not a ton. Like he's staying close enough to where I'm like, who is that? And then he starts staying my same speed for a little bit. Because he must have got out there for a few laps, got warmed up, and then was at my speed. And I'm like, all right, what's going on here? So I start going faster because some random guy that I see from across the track is keeping up with me. And then I end up pulling away, but a little bit, to the point where, okay, who is this guy? This guy's fast. Turns out it's Ben Kelly. So that makes sense. We did our next, I went up, introduced myself. He's going to hopefully be involved in some Moto Academy stuff, which would be awesome. Really trying to dive more into off-road. And Ben would be a great person for it. Seems like a really nice kid. Hopefully can articulate well. He had good technique because I was able to watch him a little bit. We did the second moto, our second 30, we did together. And he was my same exact speed. And we kept doing this. Little faster, I'm stuck under my mic, unreal. Little faster, and just, we were spotting each other on the track. And I think we were doing it at the same point because we would kind of cross each other at one point. And we were the same exact speed, essentially. Maybe I caught him a couple laps, he caught me a couple laps, but we stayed just about in the same exact spot. And for that moto, I definitely bumped it up to like 90%, which for me is getting up there. I was pushing pretty hard. Then they started watering the track, and I'm like, oh my God, this is getting a little dangerous. And then the sun started going down behind the trees a little bit, and so the light was like bouncing and creating crazy shadows. Couldn't see half the track. And yeah, sure enough, I ended up, now we're getting real off topic, but I ended up washing the front a little bit, and it kind of washed and caught. And it was a section where I was having to get back to the right side of the track where there was a roller. You could go to the left and avoid the roller. But the line I was doing, I was going up over the roller. So I washed, caught, and it set me on a trajectory to where I was like halfway in between the roller and the not roller to where I was going to catch the edge of it. And I'm like, oh crap. But there was not, I was going so fast and there wasn't really much I could do at that point. So I just tried to stand the bike up more to avoid the foot peg catching and it kicking me. And when I did that, it just aimed me completely off the track. And now I'm heading towards just a pond.
Hey guys, before you get back to this video, friendly reminder, subscribe to the Moto Academy app. If you guys want direct access to myself, you can send me riding footage where I send back one-on-one feedback it's basically a one-on-one lesson inside the Moto Academy app. We have 300 plus hours of content that you can't find anywhere else. Go check it out, club.themotoacademy.com. Subscribe today. Back to the video.
A pond and a big old sprinkler head, and couldn't do anything about it. Went straight into the sprinkler head. My bike got stuck in it upside down with the front brake cable wrapped around it. Thankfully, the sprinkler head stopped my bike from going into the pond, so that was nice. But my body went straight over the bike into the pond. It was a good crash. We got it on GoPro, so it's going to be out on YouTube hopefully pretty soon, and I'm sure it looks funny. I don't crash often at all, especially that was, you know, a good one. But I landed right in water, so that's, if you're going to crash, find some water, find a soft spot, and we did that, so that was good. But that was my first time kind of pushing a little bit. If you are supplementing for the 450, yes, it can make you lazy if you ride it for too long. It can make you leave it in gears when you should be used to shifting. And then when you drop back down to the 250, you're like, oh my God, I got to shift this thing 20 times more per lap. But what is that noise? Somebody's just starting a race car? Oh man. What the heck was I talking about? Riding a 250, it helps with aggression because you got to ride it harder, just like a 125. You got to shift it more. You've got to be more precise with carrying momentum. But what the 450 for me does is it allows me to feel like I'm charging less, so to speak, so that I could really, really heavy focus on technique. When you guys watch the videos coming out of me ride, I've been getting a ton of riding in. When you watch these videos come out, I feel like I look pretty good on the bike right now. And I want to say part of that reason is because I'm on that 450, just 30% RPM, barely on the throttle, and still able to get good lap times, but just straight up technique focus. So again, long story long, if you're going to supplement, supplement. I would say you don't spend too much time on one or the other. Go back and forth as frequently as you can. It's great practice. Same thing when a kid's going from a 65 to an 85. Switch it up. My dad would keep me on the little bikes as long as possible. So I was humongous on a Cowie 65. In fact, I was Tech 10 size 10 boot and an Alpine Star boot. That's what I would wear now. And I was riding a 65 and 85 at the same time. I'm sure once upon a time there was a point where I liked the 65 more than the 85. I didn't want to mess with the 85. And then when it switches, you get to the point where you like the 85 and you don't want to mess with the 65. But learning to bounce back and forth between the two is great bike skill. Teaches you how to adapt, how to figure out your shifting points quickly, how to adapt your body position to a different size bike. The 250 to 450 difference isn't as extreme, but it's just an example of it's helpful. I switch bikes so frequently because I'm always hopping on random students' bikes that I've learned to just adapt really quick, which is good. If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, go download them. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and I think that's it. Go download them there, give them a listen. If you want to watch full episodes, which I tell you what, it's even better to do that, go to club.themotoacademy.com. because Moto Academy subscribers inside of the app have exclusive access to watch the entire episodes. And not only that, the subscribers actually can send in their questions to be answered on the podcast as well. Club.themotoacademy.com. Go subscribe.